September 22nd, 2017. Guild Wars 2's second expansion, Path of Fire, is released. The commander chases down a literal god of war into the Crystal Desert to stop him from ending Tyria as they know it. The new mount system is released, including the secret flying mount, the Griffin. June 10th, 2024 at 8:55 a.m., nearly 7 years later, my lazy char-playing butt finally unlocks the Griffin mount. Do I regret it? Yes, I do. But it's complicated. 7 years to get one mount. You'd think I'm playing the Stanley Parable for achievements or something with that kind of delay, but no, it's just a matter of when I played. You see, I've played Guild Wars 2 since launch, and I'm sure my char's starting to go gray in the snout at this point, but I haven't played it constantly. In fact, there was this whole segment from post Heart of Thorns to Icebrood Saga that I just didn't touch the game as far as my memory holds up anyway. My memory isn't great, adventurers. So when I came back and played through Path of Fire, Living World Season 4 had already come out fully, and the super awesome Skyscale was mostly what everyone was talking about at this point. A few friends did keep harping on me to get the Griffin mount, but I never bothered to learn how to make money by this point, so the idea of paying 250 gold was crazy to me. And I focused on just grinding out currencies for the Skyscale, and once I had the Skyscale, I didn't care. I already had a mount that could fly. I didn't care about what was essentially a super fast glider that can't fly up whenever it wants to. But things change. Fast forward to End of Dragons and Secrets of the Obscure, and I've been playing the game pretty darn regularly since then. Definitely not Muckluck Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire the 4th levels of consistency, but I've been here a while, dang it, okay? I started my I Played X class for a month challenge videos recently to break out of my rut and enjoy some new perspectives, and for the month of June I've been playing Engineer, primarily focusing on wrapping up Path of Fire achievements and content to focus myself and help pick up achievements I've been neglecting. So, naturally, the Open Skies achievements I so long ago started were haunting me. My friend Danath has been taunting me about never getting this blasted mount for years, making fun of how long it takes me to get to events and all that kind of stuff. So, I figured it was now or never, and it was finally time for me to double tap through the struggle and just get this thing unlocked. I got the Skyscale after all, so how bad could this be? But I was not prepared for what it was like. The 250 gold was no big deal. I've learned how to make money at this point, so the big task was the endless errand running. But it surprisingly wasn't even that bad. I pulled up some maps from the wiki to make my life easy and was able to finish up the thing in a few hours. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I remember loathing the Skyscale collection at the time, and this was so much easier, I thought. But boy, howdy, adventurers, ArenaNet couldn't just let me go that easily. The worst was yet to come, showing up at the last minute. The Cormyr Sanctum instance to collect the books was one of the most annoying things I've done in a while. I'd rather have chewed on a brick. The first 5 elites I had to track down to defeat for the keys, it was fine. You know, it was unique enough, it was interesting. But there were 6 more after that. It's like I was being forced to watch paint dry on the end of my nose. Just make it stop. But the point is, I still got it done. And despite one annoying instance, it was much easier to get than the Skyscale as far as time commitment. I unlocked it, went and earned all the mastery XP I needed to finally dump my mastery points into it, and started zipping around at the speed of sound. But I still regret it. Let's talk about my pros and cons here. So, for pros, this thing is an absolute riot to use for fun. Doing the Griffin challenges to force myself how to learn to fly fancy with it has been a blast. You can clear some serious speed with it, being the fastest mount in the game at a max cap of 2,000 speed units per second. After 12 years, I'm still trying to figure out what a unit is in this game, but I digress. Physics from the future here, and apparently, I just looked it up, it's inches. Why? It's also completely changed how I traverse some maps like Omnitas and has finally made me set up some custom keybinds for my mounts so I can change up literally on the fly. The Griffin absolutely dominates a map where you can start off at a high point, letting you just breeze through hostile patrols at a safe distance overhead, weave through tight areas, and even use your speed to climb back up if there's minor elevation differences. Not to mention, this was the last mastery track in addition to one single mastery point in Icebrood Saga I had to finally earn, to finally max out my mastery level for the first time ever. It feels great to be capped. The big con, I think in a twist of irony, the sky scale is simultaneously a big reason I've been enjoying the Griffin as much as I have, but yet the sky scale is also the biggest con, the reason it's not as universally useful as it used to be. On older maps like Lornar's Pass, for example, it's very easy to get sky scaled up quickly onto a large mountain, land, and then fly up even further, do a mid-air mount swap to Griffin, and then fly across the entire known universe at Mach 12. Without the sky scale though, this wouldn't be as efficient or even possible in some cases where the Springer doesn't quite cut it due to a lack of flat spots to actually land on. And most of Corteria is pretty darn flat with a few exceptions. And Heart of Thorns ranges from awful corridors I haven't bothered trying the Griffin in yet, to the wide open canopy of verdant brink that beckons for my Griffin even now. So the sky scale can be great at boosting the Griffin's uses, but the flip side is that the sky scale is such a versatile mount. I mean, it's the flex tape of the mount ecosystem, with the ability to bail you out of a sticky combat situation with the in-combat mounting, tag enemies from a range as you're coming into an ongoing event, drop a dot effect and a fire combo field, or just scale a cliff. It's hard for the Griffin's ability to just go faster and maybe do some damage if you swoop in to compete with all of that. All of that being said, the big reason I actually regret getting the Griffin 7 years later is because I would have found it way more fulfilling if I got it sooner like people told me to do. At the very least, getting it before the Secrets of the Obscure upgrades to the sky scale. It used to fill not only the fastest mount niche, but the only flying mount niche. ArenaNet came in and gave us a helicopter instead of a jet-propelled glider, and the helicopter is a bit more universally useful. Plus, now that I've learned how to actually make money in the game, the overall time investment in it was much more agreeable compared to the original sky scale achievement in Living World 4. Though I can't say how it stacks up to the new Secrets of the Obscure method. I haven't bothered to actually do those achievements yet, though it appears to now be about the same level of difficulty as the Griffin, which is unfortunately another point in the get the sky scale first column to me if you have neither mount. Though while it may not be my go-to mount, it's already carved out a well-deserved spot in my retinue. It's fast, it's fun, and for me it symbolizes finally catching up on mounts and masteries after all these years. I'm satisfied I've finally done that, but will it be worth it for you? I don't know, but I do know two things for sure. One, that I gave you enough to think about, that if you don't have the Griffin yet, to decide whether or not you'd be happy putting the time into getting it. And two, that if you've watched this far, you'll love to hear my take on these 8 things I think every new Guild Wars 2 player needs to hear. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some more Griffin mastery activities to complete.